Something has just been announced in the crypto space that could be extremely bullish for our crypto portfolios. But first, a few hours ago, I made a crypto video update where I basically stated that for the past couple of days, we've been selling off some coins to try and buy them back after tomorrow's movement. Basically meaning we lowered the leverage going into tomorrow's event to stack up harder regardless of what happens afterwards, because our medium to long-term outlook has remained the same. Meaning if you've sold some coins off, if the price crashes tomorrow, you get to buy them cheaper because over the longer term, we're still quite bullish. But pretty quickly after, I made a video update today saying, you know what, Solana is actually quite cheap at 232, 233. We bought some more Solana and pretty much instantly it flipped right back to 238, right now 237. And that's the thing. Sometimes, regardless of it, of what you expect, let's call it the next day, next few days, you can have yourself a very good deal. And even though I can't guarantee anything, right? We're not sure what's going to happen to Solana next, let's say 230, somewhere along those lines, just because all the funds we're buying right there around that level, or at least the $1.6 billion fund, it just made sense to scoop some up. Having said that, I want you all to realize that whatever we're seeing right here when it comes to all these funds really is just a start. But take a look at this.
The opportunity of internet capital markets is to trade and settle every asset in the world on one global ledger. Job's done is when I can prove to the world global capital markets are functioning on chain. Job is not even remotely close to done.
And I want to combine that with actually one more video. There was it's an hour long, and there's actually been a few videos that this guy went on. If you're wondering who Kyle here is, he's the guy behind the $1.6 billion Solana purchase of just now. And remember, guys, just because I'm covering Solana here and I'm talking about 𝗕𝗠𝗀𝗄𝗃 here and about my bots and all the profit we're making, doesn't mean it's my favorite coin. All I'm saying is I make videos here every single day about my crypto trading strategies. And I've always got millions of dollars worth. I just quickly refreshed. I thought it wouldn't load in, but anyway, let's give it a second here. I've always got millions of dollars worth of trades open. And sometimes there's just a little edge that you can find. And that doesn't mean I sell off my entire freaking portfolio to act on it. Matter of fact, now I see that I even had a sold position right here that I forgot about, which sometimes can happen. My buy bot is logged out, so we can't see it just quite yet. We also have a few trades open. You get I also refreshed this. Refreshing is not going in the best of ways right now. Actually, matter of fact, I'm also logged out here. As you can see, I've not really been updating myself on the trades too much. And the main, no, matter of fact, I'm actually not like that, I think. I think it just takes some time to load on in. We're just a bit laggy. Regardless, as it currently stands, I'm not really updating on them too much. I've not really done too much. Sure, I have been adding to my bots. And I told y'all I want to deposit a crazy amount of BNB. Remember when I said that a few days ago? BNB has been one of the best performers out there. Why didn't I do it? Because I got to sit down and move money. It takes time. And you only have X amount of hours in a day. And I have so much stuff to do that I've been writing down here. It's, whew. But I'm trying to get all my trades more central. So I'm trying to do more on 𝗕𝗠𝗀𝗃. Regardless, what I was going to say is watch this video for just a second. It's worth it.
Yeah, look, I think there's a bunch of reasons you might want to invest in Forward Industries. And by the way, the ticker is Ford. It's FORD, like the car company, NASDAQ listed. But I think there's a few. The first is you have to believe that we as the sponsors of this vehicle can do interesting things to deliver increasing SOL per share for our shareholders. And there's a number of things we can do to that effect. I think probably the most interesting is actually M&A. There's probably going to be 30, maybe 40 of these digital asset treasuries out there, not only Solana related, but all the other assets too.
Yeah.
And I don't think the market's going to sustain 30 or 40 of these things.
No.
And so there's going to be a ripe opportunity for M&A. And I think given the caliber of our team and even just the knowledge we have with banking across, especially Galaxy, we're in a prime position to execute on that. The second, I think, really lucrative opportunity is in actually arbitraging capital market structures, meaning we're working on getting loans from banks, hopefully in the 5-ish%, maybe 6% range. And then we can deploy that into Solana DeFi at, today, probably close to 15%.
Numeral.
This, together with the post I shared for y'all a little bit earlier, talking about the fact that many of them are coming up, many of these digital asset treasury companies are coming up here and purchasing a ton of cryptos who most likely eventually will get merged out, I guess let's call it, but something will happen there. It is quite interesting to think of it right now in the sense that we've probably not seen the craziest stuff this cycle. And I keep saying again and again and again that I think what will crash this market is the treasuries getting out of hand. But from another angle, his plans do make sense. The strategy is quite clear. And at the end of the day, this crypto stuff, it just keeps on growing. I mean, I can show you 1,000 more videos talking about how Solana is pretty much in a prime spot right now. Here's Dan from Pantera saying, quote unquote, Solana can do more transaction per day than all capital markets combined. For some reason, I mean, the reason is quite logical because they're raising tons of capital. But for some reason, let's just say, these guys have turned extremely bullish on nothing else but Solana. And like I said before, it's not necessarily my number one coin in terms of holdings or for the entirety of the season. But for this part of the season, it seems they're locked in on Sol. So we're just moving with that flow. Regardless, crypto updates, a massive thing that just happened. And by the way, if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button. Google collaborating with Coinbase to add crypto payments to its new AI payments protocol. That is pretty cool. And as you can see right here, X402 plus Google just unlocked a new level for AI agents. Agents can actually pay each other now with X402 powering the stablecoin rail inside Google's new agentic payments protocol. Really cool. And Google officially posted that as well, so it's official. Having said that, I hope I'm able to show this. This was actually the funniest post I've seen of today. Stocks, all-time highs. Gold, all-time highs. Crypto, real estate. Let's call it real estate, all-time highs. Crypto. And then you see a video of somebody talking about so essentially, the most hyped up thing in crypto right now, besides, of course, your top coins, has got to be all this pump fund stuff. And if you don't know, don't worry about it. But it is funny as crap. At least it's definitely entertaining to me, at least. But the funny thing is, this is all happening when Bitcoin did some good moves today, right? It had a pretty good pump. But this is all happening. Matter of fact, even right now, it's still at 117, pretty massive. This is all happening while a lot of these coins are not really putting in any crazy sort of numbers. I really do wonder what's going to happen to all those markets, all the streaming, all the excitement, all the degeneracy, if all of a sudden the crypto market has some ridiculous pumps again. I mean, Bitcoin just put a new high, some people are tweeting out. A lot of the other coins are not, though. Ethereum is actually still down below 4,500 right now. XRP at 304 looking okay. But, I mean, I prefer to see it at like $3.30, right? So it's still not amazing. Solana still is holding up nicely, and BNB actually is just breaking heights. I think it's at an all-time high. I'm not 1,000% sure on that, but I think this is the highest point, maybe 957 or something like that. Hyperliquid is down a little bit, but also not really moving too much. As a matter of fact, most of these coins are not really doing too much, except for Sui, which had a pretty interesting dip and surge right afterwards, and Monero here is up 6%. But in general, my bots here, even though they're always clearing, today has been quite a slow day. But the thing is, and this is really beautiful about it, it's still clearing more just from automatic here trading that it's doing than almost any other strategy I could have gotten. That's the thing. Even on slow days like this, if I look at, for example, just my, where's the coin bot stack? Here we go. If I look at just the XRP bot alone here, for example, let's quickly see. So over the past day, it's still traded 143 times. On average, it makes about 0.5 XRP every single time. So we're still up 70 XRP or something like that from the bot just trading. And I can say the same thing for almost any single one of these, or for example, some of our main bots right here. Let's take a look at this bot right here, right? We put a significant amount of money in it, sure. But still, every single day, I think it still makes us, let's say, $100, maybe a few $100, even if the XRP price does nothing, which is the most beautiful part of it all. And had this been any other strategy, like for example, over on, Blowfin, like we've got these the positions running, or on Bybit or whatever, I actually can't necessarily say it's always that smart to just keep them open because you're paying a funding, right? That's why I always say, if you've got positions like this, it is always wise to open, close whenever you find good opportunities rather than keeping them open. The reason I do is because I kind of made a promise saying, hey, you'll see this at, in my opinion, right? This is my thoughts, not finished advice, plus like $700,000 a few weeks from now, a few months from now. And I got to show, I got to deliver. But if it was me personally, I would most likely focus more on this, because if you look at the amount you pay versus the amount it gets back on any one of the bots thus far, which I think we still have a few months to do it for, it's a pretty good return relatively. And there goes another kicker. A lot of people were asking, do you keep them open during the bear run? And the goal is, for the most part, to have all the bots be like the first ones I made. Like this one right here, the XRP main bot, the BTC main bot. These are not the first ones, but still, where the amount of profit cashed out is so great that it can never wreck itself, so that you can, theoretically speaking, by increasing the range, just keep them open forever and keep them generating more and more and more. That's kind of the goal. Now, there's different strategies that use for different bots, but let's just say it like this. There's still long strategies, meaning you generally speaking think the price is going to go up, that you can proceed with over an entire bear market, because let's say a year of down, of which the first 4 months you're not really realizing that the bear market has kicked in just quite yet. It's usually quite later that people realize it. So let's say it's about 9 months of mostly down. Even then, it may be a bit less, maybe a bit more, and you don't know exactly where it starts or where it ends. It's always quite difficult. And from that angle, since almost nobody will be able to time it perfectly, if you just have a long enough breath, even every single time it comes down, there's always some pretty big pumps right after. And what I mean with that is, if you take this bear market, for example, right? It's actually quite easy to, even with a long bot, make a ton of money on the progress down. And sure, your bot will be at a ton of a loss, but if you don't have the leverage too high, you have your range quite set and enough money to add as margin, right? You can actually make a ton of money on every single one of these pumps back. So you cash out a lot in that process. And overall, you get yourself an extremely nice average price. And the moment the market does move back up for main coins that you're comfortable holding for a little bit of a longer time, you actually rake in tons. And that's also where I think the 10K to a million challenge you do pretty well on. If I, for example, started right here at one of these dips, it might have done bad at start, sure, but that's actually not so bad. All right, if I started at the top, it might have been a bit difficult to survive all the way if I had already increased the bot. But let's say I started somewhere near this area. It was just a few months of down, let's say, half a year of down or so before massive up. It would have, this would have been good times. And maybe you can't see it just quite yet, but if you really dive in a bit and you start understanding these systems, it's really quite beautiful. But regardless, for ETH, we're not even close enough to my buys. Like the real area where I wanted to buy was about 3,900. Like just now we got pretty close to our entry, but we bounced off pretty quickly off of those prices. And for the most part, I'm just waiting this one out. Like I said before, if you wanted to sell some, should probably done that the moment I made a video 2 days ago talking about selling, and then try to buy back after FOMC. And the main reason I'm not buying into FOMC, even though I bought some SOL here because it was too good a price to let go, is because it's very risky. The FOMC, I'll be streaming this tomorrow, by the way. For probably a few hours, we'll be streaming. The reason I think it's always a bit of a scary event is because even if what you expect to happen happens, which is essentially bullish for the medium longer term, a rate cut incentivizes all the good we want. The question is it already priced in, right? And especially if we don't get anything particularly special happening, no 50 base point rate cut, which I'm not expecting, then since everybody was already expecting that, did everybody buy into the idea that this would pump the markets over the medium longer term? And so maybe on the day itself, maybe the next few days, you get the markets coming down as people are selling the news, buying the rumors, selling the news. And then pretty quickly afterwards, we get to scoop up those coins for the medium longer term. But just day one, maybe day zero, let's call it, and the days after it could be quite scary. But even if day zero it goes down, I'm not actually going to take my hands off too much and be like, oh, let's see what I'm actually going to already start buying at that point, even if it's just straight up dump on that day. You might say, oh, but how much lower can it go? Yabba-dibba-doo. Think about it. We sold some off with the sole purpose of buying those coins back right after FOMC. And if the market pumps, sure, there could be a little, I wanted to say a particular fake out, but let's just say a little fake out right afterwards. But I still think it doesn't change that much. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Those are my thoughts on tomorrow. It's going to be an extremely important event. I'll be streaming it because we can't miss this one. It's going to be the pivotal FOMC, the most pivotal one we've seen in a long time. And that's because it changes things, especially strange because it's happening in such a bullish market. But the underlying the underlying market is kind of recession-y. It's a very, very interesting event. Might start the rate cut, let's call it season. Watch out for this tomorrow. Yeah, that's about it for this little crypto update, though. If you want to trade, check out the links down below. And that's about it for this update, like I said.